if you don't pay. Like, oh, everything's broken down. And how dare they have the nerve to lecture you. And so everything is upside down. The unfunded government pension, and we're in $1 trillion debt. So it's upside down. They're trying to squeeze every dollar and then squeeze your property, everything out of you to give them the power. And this is what socialism about. Remember, I told you that it sounded good, like, oh, it's equality, diversity, but they want to get people who do not speak the language that will vote for them, because that's all they hear from their Spanish radio or Chinese newspaper, and which is totally left-leaning and so-called Antifa, and talk bad about Trump every day. So wake up, and I want to start with that little praise, because when we praise the Lord, otherwise we're just like so filled with anger, and that's anxiety that would kill your hormone, your sex drive, or your intelligence. So I saw thee, I saw thee, I saw thee, oh Lord, I lift my hands unto you, I saw thee. I know that didn't sound that great there, but that's okay. God loves a joyful noise. I saw thee, O Lord, for thou, Lord, art high above the earth. Thou art exalted high above all gods. Of course, that I have to confess my sins, and I don't want to tell you every dirty details, but you know, the biggest sin is unforgiveness. So we have to forgive, and I forgive those who have done me wrong, including my stepfather, which I was vehemently bitter because otherwise my life would have been totally different, even though he's dead. So help me to forgive. And I want to differentiate. Forgiveness is different than condoning. We don't condone the action. For example, like I said, like my stepfather tried to kill me, and he was illegal. And to break it down, because people overstay their visas. And a lot of this is happening every day. And they do it on purpose. Like I said, in California, so-called the sanctuary city, these people have no respect for the rule and law of this country. They just want to come and, you know, suck it dry out of us. And Grindal is right. And all these brothers that are fighting in the front line. So I have to warn you, because they have no respect. Like I said, if I go to Monterey Park east of number 10, for some reason, they're coming from the east, but they love to flock to the east of LA. So I don't know why, because they form their own community, society. You cannot even penetrate. There is no intention to assimilate, except for when they need a translator. They got it from your tax dollars when they try to apply, or not just try to apply, for every kind of social program there is. So there's no cheap labor, and they're bringing in everybody, like I was telling you, that you know it, that Sapov had 23, just one person had 23 so-called chain migration. So that has got to go, because we cannot afford, I don't care how good is your intention, you cannot afford to get these people from China. If you try to get them, I mean, that's just one country. Oh my God. And they're flooding in here in California every day. That's why we're about to have a revolt. That's why there's not enough money to go around. And that's why these so-called evil politicians that would squeeze and put a gun to your head and just make you pay. Because otherwise, they call you the freeloader, because you're being taxed to death. And Jerry Brown said, you're the freeloaders. Oh, well, you want the road fixed, so you got to pay. I mean, the property tax is already out of whack. Out of whack. They have ways to get in there, even though there's Proposition 13 supposedly protect you and your household from being thrown out in the cold. By not, you know, it's supposed to be able to raise your taxes. But they are doing it by so-called fees. They tag on these little fees here, little fees you never heard of. And where does it go? It goes to what? people, they're ignorant. I'm serious about that. If they believe in the Democrats, that handouts, I mean, I seen ads. The handout ads, did you ever approve of it as a voter in California? I seen ads. They pay. This is the way they buy off blocks of ads with your money, and they attack you. The ads are saying, if you're poor, you come to the covered California, which is a form of welfare. So everybody can now come to California. And I don't know, that's what the ramification going to be. We're going to have a absolute revolution, and this recall, the so-called supermajority of 2/3 in the state assembly and the Senate. They're recalling this guy, Josh Adams, or what's his name? Josh Newman, in the effort to repeal the gas tax. It's coming. They're declaring war. In the national picture, they're declaring war against us. Because if you have any kind of intelligence, and if you believe in the principle of this free government, the founding father, then they're going to take you down, because they're the real freeloaders, and they're calling you names, or so-called anti-fascists. People got to be able to see right through it. I attest to it because I was the victim, and I was like confused by the whole smoke and screen effort when I was in Hawaii, and then Craig Graham was writing me because on Facebook, right? He is a retired so-called government worker, so they have this bureaucratic spirit, like, you know, the government. I'm not saying, oh, the government is your God and their pension is good. Well, that should make you angry. You know, I'm not against all the government. I'm just against people hijacking the government and use it or turn it around against us and put the shackle on us. And you see what I'm saying? They always pretend. This is what the Democratic parties lie. They're for little people. And I said, the perfect example, I said to Craig Graham, I said, didn't the government said to cable company in Hawaii, this is when I was in Hawaii, that you have to, you know, the excuse, always an excuse for a new tax. So you have to charge this new tax for every subscribers, because cables are like wires instead of the, you know, the FCC, like the airwaves. You see what I'm saying? So they charge a special tax for every subscribers. And then they said, oh, okay, because we want to have public access. That's what it is. Oh, yeah, we're for the people, all right. But then after a couple of years, then they go, hey, there's just millions of dollars being collected there, and why don't we take advantage of that? So they pretend that they were gonna give so-called the public access, when in fact they're muzzling the public. They took the money from the cable company. This is what happened to me. And they formed a, because they say they cannot really be administering, legally take that money, unless they started a nonprofit called Olelo. It's a whole bunch of lies. They're just another way to rob the taxpayers. So they robbed the taxpayer, they took the money, and they were guarding just like a communistic station. So you have to go through every bureaucrat. Anyway, that was a nightmare. So that's why I told Craig Graham, actually I blocked him, because he said, praise God for governmental jobs. I mean, don't say that to irk me, all right? I just, like I said, somebody told me, oh, yeah, but we're like janitors for this, now I'm in California now, I'm fast forwarding, for some assemblyman, and, you know, they were kind of embarrassed, because I praised her eyeglasses, right? And it was like a name brand, it was $350. It was all paid for. I go, RSVP, I had that before through SAG, the Screen Actors Guild Insurance, but they won't pay nothing, not even an eye exam, which is like $75. But this government employee, that her husband, you know, just a janitor for the state assembly man, whatever. They were just trying to be secretive. I don't want to tell you who it is. Anyways, she just said, oh yeah, they pay for it. They pay for all the glasses, and my copay was like $18. They had the least amount of copay. I said, well, I'm in a wrong business, you know, I should go into the government or whatever, right? Because it just seemed like they demand you to enrich their pockets, and they give it to all these people that are trespassers, so that they're so dumbed down and they will check and vote Democrats. And if you want this place to become a third world country, go ahead, you're doing a good job. But my purpose today, in fact, I need to focus on what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to read this real quick, because the Lord, because, you know, you just go like, oh, I'm berserk. How could we possibly live in this day and age? And I'm just shocked by all these. The left is more violent than ever. I mean, I remember I was very, very unhappy when Obama was in power, and I wasn't like that. I wasn't taking guns and go out there like this Antifa people. They're out there damaging properties. But maybe because there was no George Soros funding. I don't know. But at that time, of course, you know, this is like, we got to get wise up to it and open our eyes. And I thought people got wise up to it. But I'm shocked that there are so many so-called communistic that people want to leech off other people. Like, you know, everything is free. Free college, free this and free that. It's free to you, but who's gonna pay for it? So what's gonna happen is everybody gonna be getting an $800 check and live off in their cars. Really, that's what homelessness is all about. Nobody can afford to live in a home anymore. But yes, the government will cut you a check for $800, and you can take that check and live in your car. There is no incentive to really entrepreneur. The economy is getting better. GDP is over 3%, which Obama was never ever be able to pull it off, because what they pick and choose, Obama, Clinton, they want to pick and choose the winner and the loser and punish you for wanting to better your lives. So what we have is Isaiah 51. I don't know why I say what we have is what I got right here. I've been wanting to, this has opened for like 3 days, so I just like glance by whenever I'm here. But finally, this is what I said. Listen to me, you who follow after righteousness, you who seek the Lord. Look to the rock from which that you were hewn, if you know what that means, hewn out the rock, and to the hole of the pit from which that you were dug. Look to Abraham, your father, and to Sarah who bore you, for I called him alone and blessed him and increased him, for the Lord will comfort Zion. I think that's the main thing because of what happened in Texas, the Sutherland. You know, I'm so shocked about that. But the Lord says that he will comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places. He will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness will be found in it, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. Listen to me, my people, and give ear to me, O my nation, for law will proceed from me, and I will make my justice rest as the light of the peoples. My righteousness is near. My salvation has gone forth, and my arms will judge the people, and the coastlands will wait upon me. Coastlands. So I'm in California, we're part of the coastlands. I really think that's prophetic. Lift up your eyes to the heavens. Okay, it says on my arm they will trust. Lift up your eyes to the heavens. And this is Isaiah 51, 6. For the heavens will vanish away like smoke. The earth will grow old like a garment. Grow old like a garment. And those who dwell in it will die in like manner, but my salvation will be forever, and my righteousness will not be abolished. Listen to me, you who know righteousness, you people in whose heart is my law. Do not fear. That's a good one, because we're so afraid. Do not fear the reproach of men. So that's, just think about the reproach of men, what they're doing now. They are reproaching us like crazy. They're killing your people, Lord, like crazy, like Las Vegas and Texas, all that coincides with the date of the Fort Hood, the Hassan, the terrorist. So, you people in whose heart is my law, do not fear the reproach of men. No, be afraid of their